Let's Bing Podcast Exit Core. I am Drew Foss.
I am Kevin, also known as Rayleth. That's me.
Monday, January the 20th.
Yep.
Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day, everybody.
Yeah, he did good stuff. And that's
He has been whitewashed since then.
That's true. There's been a lot of pruning of all MLK Jr. that's been going on, which coincidentally, so let's get a little political, just a little bit.
Hard not to these days.
Did you see what the National Archives has been up to, Drew?
Yeah, where they've been blurring images of like anti-Trump.
That's effed up.
Yeah, that's really messed up. Especially someone going into this profession. Yeah, that's really effed up.
Because I do not care what my listeners' opinions are. The National Archives are events. They didn't censor the Vietnam War anti-war protesters and just be like, what were those guys holding up signs for? You need to know what the current mood was. That's what history is.
Yep.
And that's...
Well, so when the government starts censoring things, that's when stuff starts to get bad.
Yeah. They see that's real censorship. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
That's no good. You know what else is no good or baffling on a completely alternate scale?
Was it a Ford commercial last year during the Super Bowl that had an MLK speech?
It was some car commercial. There's been it was one of those because there are baffling car commercials where you'll see. There was one I can't remember. It was something like a boy living his life and then having a family and then on his deathbed, and then it just went like Levi's. I was like, what?
To me, that MLK one is especially heinous because the speech they're taking from to be like, this is America and our truck is America. It's like, in that very same speech, he starts condemning, like, keeping up with your neighbors and trying to show off and, like, spending on, like, unnecessary garbage.
Yeah, it's kind of... I'm adjusting some microphone settings. It got changed.
That's fine. I'm eating some peanuts.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Peanuts are great. Do you like honey roasted or non-honey roasted?
Last time at the store, I got, like, a jar of each.
Mm-hmm.
Honey roasted and unsalted.
See,
I mean, honey roasted is the best.
It is the best, but if I'm gonna eat peanuts in bulk, then I'm more for the lightly salted peanuts, because to me the honey roasted, if you get it at a gas station and it's in the tube, that's about as much honey roasted peanut as I want to eat. But if I'm just going to go to town on some peanuts, then I really want lightly salted. But that's my opinion.
See, as it turns out, I can just go to town on honey roasted. But like I say, I also got like a thing of unsalted to see if I can deal with that. Because that's the technically better option. Even then, like, look at like the nutritional facts, they're really not that different. It's just how many grams of sugar you're getting per serving.
Yeah, that's the only difference. Peanut's a high-cal food. That's why peanut butter is I like peanut butter, and it is good. And it's just, there's a lot of calories in a peanut butter.
Yeah, 1 ounce of peanuts has 160 calories.
Yeah, which, it's good.
Fun fact for all you kids who shouldn't be listening to this podcast, you should only get, like 23 grams of sugar a day?
Yeah. I messed that up.
Get a can of soda next time.
I messed that up because they had cheap fudge at the grocery store. And I was like...
Yeah, that's a problem. When the Little Debbie's are on sale...
No, it wasn't Little Debbie's. It was in the, like, Tupperware tub. And it was just a thing of fudge. And I was like, $3, you say?
See, I don't know, like, fudge has never been... Typically, me, for sweets, if it's a pastry, that's when it's a problem. much about it.
So when you're gluten-free and you can't have brownies, fudge is your brownie. Fudge is a gluten-free brownie, effectively.
You ever had cheese fudge?
Yes, I have. I think I have. I don't know. Describe it more.
I mean, it's just called cheese fudge, and like people will be like, yeah, there's like cheese in it, and like you eat it, and it's like this just tastes like regular ass fudge, and it's like, but there's cheese in it, and it's like, okay.
Is that the same thing?
Experience with cheese.
Is that the same thing as ever eaten mayonnaise cake?
I've never heard of mayonnaise cake.
We had it because it was in some, I think, Beverly Cleary book. Is that what I'm thinking of? Where there.
That sounds like a Ramona and Beezus.
I want to say it was either her or the author that did The Giver. I can't remember.
I was gonna guess Kate DeMilo, but that's not her.
But it was one of them. And they talked about how their mom made mayonnaise cake, so the teacher made mayonnaise cake for everybody. And it just tastes like cake.
I was going to say that sounded like a
Lois Lowry.
Dixie thing, but yeah, I said that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. My brain was thinking about it.
Yeah, that's fine. I would say that sounds like a Because of Win Dixie type of thing.
Yeah.
The premise of that book is she doesn't have a mom, so
yeah.
I don't think that happens in that book.
But it was because it's one of those things that sounds gross until you realize that mayonnaise is just eggs and oil, and you put that in cake anyway.
What you need to make a cake.
Yeah. So effectively, you're subbing out 2 ingredients for 1 ingredient, and then it just sort of works. It's like, oh.
It was during one episode of the Great British Bake Off. One of the contestants, like one of the ingredients, like they have to make a fondant. And it's just like, well, how are you gonna make a fondant on the time limit you have? It's like, oh, there's this really easy thing. You just microwave some marshmallows and blah blah blah. And like later in the same season, one of the instructions is like make a fondant, and like it's explicitly saying like you can't do the marshmallow microwave thing. Actual fondant.
That's great. British Bake Off, one of the best TV shows. Okay, so in the last of adult time, I need to talk about the toilet miracle at my apartment. Because so it was around last week. The bottom stairs toilet in my apartment has been kind of janky for a while, where you would flush it and it wouldn't immediately start refilling the bowl or the little container. It would have a delay, and it kept getting longer and longer until eventually it just decided to not do it. And I was like, oh no. At the same time, my upstairs toilet had the exact opposite problem, the one next to my bedroom, where it wouldn't stop filling the bowl, the container. And I was going, oh, I'm going to have to call the maintenance people and have them replace 2 toilet flushers. I mean, I can do it. I've done it before. But if I have maintenance people, that's what they're paid to do.
Exactly. You're paying them money to fix this.
But I had to, before doing that, I had to clean the toilets because they were, at least the one downstairs has always been questionable, but I didn't care.
Yeah.
But the one upstairs, it's not fit for human looking at. It's fine if it's just me, I don't care. But anyone else, that's a disaster. So I cleaned all the toilets, and I cleaned them. I put in the toilet cleaning bleach, whatever stuff in there. I scrubbed them. And I was like, okay. And I had to, you have to flush to rinse them all out. And after I cleaned them, both toilets have been working perfectly. So I didn't call the people.
Oh, that's good. I will say, Kevin, every time I used your toilet, I always did my best to pee on the ring to try to clean it off as much as the ammonia-laced pee can.
Yeah, it was one of those where I have problems where if it's not essential, then my brain just goes, it's fine. And I didn't.
Don't you just like get one of those things you just put on the ball so every time you flush it cleans it?
Well, my solution is I got a thing of toilet cleaner, and I just if it starts to get nasty, I'll just because you just spray it. I got a toilet cleaner and a scrub brush, and you just spray it on there, let it sit, and scrub it. Yeah, that was the fascinating thing I learned is that the toilet cleaning stuff, you squirt it on there, you let it sit for 5 minutes, and then you kind of scrub it off, and it cleans 99% of gunk on there. And you're like, that's incredible. And also it makes sense why this stuff always has this big warning label of do not get on skin, do not ingest, do not let it touch you. It is horrific. But but it messes that up. So both of my toilets are now working effectively normal. The downstairs one now works 80% of the time. There's still a little bit of delay. What I can only assume happened is that my toilets have developed into mild yokai. They've got a spirit, and they were upset until I cleaned them, and then that pleased the spirit of the toilet, and now they're working perfectly. That's the only logical explanation.
I think please is too strong of a word. I think you mean appeased.
Yeah. That sounds the basic dignity.
You got them back to neutral as opposed to negative.
Yeah, that's my only solution. Because it was I've had computer have that kind of issue where it stops working and then it just starts working fine again. But I've never had an actual appliance do that. I also oh man, okay. In other boring talk, because this is what the comic will be about Friday. So a spoiler of my car's battery situation. So in the Ford Focus, there's a lot of garbage in the Ford Focus that is proprietary. What they have is a battery cover. So it's this little useless plastic thing that goes over the battery that makes the engine look good when you pop the hood. But what it doesn't do is if your battery starts to corrode around the terminal, which has this kind of powdery bluish white powder that'll mess up your terminal, if you can't tell that it's doing it.
We'll take that off.
Hot water is the key way to do it because Coke is sticky. Coke will make it sticky.
Yeah.
So just hot tap water. That's the easiest way to do it because you don't get it doesn't make it sticky or have any other problems. But
and they also make some nice like steel wool brushes that just go like right over it.
Oh yeah.
Nice too.
Oh yeah. Well, but when I opened up the battery cover, it was a pile of corrosion that was covering the battery. You could not see the terminal. And the reason you couldn't have seen it is because there's a stupid cover on it. So I had to get that changed.
Take the cover off.
Oh, I did. I threw it in the back of the car. It lives in the trunk now. So because it doesn't need it. But that was aggravating. Also, apparently Ford Focuses have this weird Yeah, there's this weird special technique you need to do to get the battery out of the car. You can't because my dad and we went to AutoZone to change the battery of both of our cars. Specifically because when mine died, he was worried that we wanted to have at least one car have battery, and his was getting sort of low, so he just said, all right, just do them both at the same time. So if one needs to, you won't have that situation.
Yeah, you can jump one off.
Yeah. If his battery makes sense, it's just a little to the side, you uncover it, you take out the battery. Mine is kind of shoved in there, and what they've done is you can't just pick up the battery and pull it out of the car because there's not enough space. You have to unhinge a plastic little thing, and it's like you gotta pull up, pull the sides out, and then pull the first part back to create enough space to get the battery out. And you will not have known this unless you watched YouTube videos of a guy saying, yo, this is messed up. This is why they make the battery like this, so that you have to go to the dealership to change it. Otherwise, you can't get it out. But yeah, that's.
So I have two things off of that branch.
Yeah.
The first is like, yeah, it's great if you ever like are working with cars with like an older guy, and they'll talk about how cars used to be such that you could just sit in the engine, like just pop the hood, just sit in there because there's just so much space for everything.
Oh yeah. And
so as cars get smaller, it becomes a puzzle game of like, how do we like feng shui all of this together?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of awful trying to work on modern cars.
Yeah, you can tell that they're built more for aesthetics and space instead of practicality, where everything's way bunched up instead of going, this needs to be designed to be replaceable and fixable. I don't like. What else was your other point?
And my other point is, also like battery issue a few years ago, and whenever I go to get it changed, like we can't, like, because the people at AutoZone will also help you like switch your battery out.
Oh yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, so it's like January and like freezing cold, and me and the person who's helping me like change the battery out can't get one of the like diodes, one of the things that are on the cord that attach to the battery.
I just call them connections or whatever.
Yeah. Like one of those will not loosen at all. Like it will not come off the battery.
Yep, that was one of the issue with mine. The guy had to hit it with a hammer.
Until it... we were going at it and couldn't. So finally, like we just cut it off, and they're like, okay, well, let's see what we have in store to replace it. And the only thing they have are like these industrial, like big truck-sized ones.
Yeah, trucking.
Yeah, so it's like from then on, my battery just had like this big industrial attachment on like the positive, and then like a regular ass one on the negative. Nah,
you trucking. You carrying all those amps.
Yeah.
You doing it. Okay, that's enough of that.
It's expensive.
All right, that's enough of that. All the children are gone. Let's talk about the real stuff. What do you think about the Smash Brothers character, Byleth?
Oh, that was... Why? Why another Fire Emblem?
So...
I know Nolan said he was glad it was that instead of another Pokemon, but I disagree. I think another Pokemon is always better than another Fire Emblem.
I agree another Pokemon's better. I think the biggest issue is it's not Byleth. Because if in isolation, I think that character is fine. I think it makes sense. It's from a first-party Nintendo game that's new, and it is popular. A lot of people, including myself, like that game. And that character is a good representation. I think the problem is that there's so many other Fire Emblem characters. And it's Lucina, Chrom, it's Robin. Well, Robin's, to me, I think Corrin. To me, Robin is fine. Like, I would say Marth is fine because Marth and Roy are fine because they were in Melee. I'm fine with that.
They're the progenitors.
Yeah. Ike is fine because he has a way different moveset. I'm fine with that. He feels different.
Like, see, my issue is the aesthetics of those characters, and like they all feel like they just all look so samey that it just like I don't know. It's just like it's too. There's too much of the roster looks like a Fire Emblem.
Yeah, it's to me, Byleth and Corrin, I feel the same way. Where if you look at their movesets, they are relatively unique and they do different stuff. They're not another Marth. But the issue is aesthetically they look like another anime character that's just sort of the same. It does the same sort of thing.
I'd honestly forgotten Crom was in that game.
Oh yeah, that's what I was. That's because I did pre-podcast research. I was thinking about all the Fire Emblems, and that's where I was like, oh man, there's just characters that are the exact same, that are just they're bland, and it's I think, and to me that's what's poisoning the well. It's not because to me Robin is different enough that moveset wise and sort of appearance wise, where you're having even if it's just anime character wearing robes looks different enough than anime character with armor and a sword, and you're just like, okay.
I don't think he does look different enough. He's still like that same aesthetic. Like, if you're doing another Fire Emblem character, you should have done a Mirage Sessions character.
Okay, that would have been great. That would have been great. You put in one of those chuckleheads in there, or if it was more like Pokemon Trainer, where you had, because the game's all about using your students and your students would chop in for an attack. I think that would have been cool, because that's the point of that character. So you had Claude come, instead of you shoot the bow, sort of like a stand, even though it is effectively you shooting the bow, Claude shoots the bow. You have the guy use the spear, and it's like, oh, it looks different. It looks different enough, and you have all three of those characters, because that's the whole point, the three houses.
All right, so two questions for you.
Yeah.
The first one is, so what Pokemon would you have picked instead of Fire Emblem?
It's hard because my brain logically tells me I would want the Grookey evolution, because we have fire types, we have water types, there's not a good grass type. But I think the bunny or the chameleon would be a better character moveset wise, but I think there needs to be some kind of grass type in there. That's not just Ivysaur.
Instead of picking the final version of Gronky, I would pick like the second stage evolution.
I like the final better than the second.
I don't know. It's just weird because, like, does he always have that big drum out?
Oh, he pulls it out. So he does not always have it. At the start of the round, he pulls it. He kind of has it in his hair, and he pulls it out and slams it down, and then he starts doing his attacks. So he wouldn't always have the drum. He would pull it out for attacks.
The only other, I don't know, it's rough. There's also not a great selection of legendaries to kind of pick from that are the humanoid shape that Sakurai wants for Smash Brothers.
I would be okay if you did another Pokemon trainer, but you had the third stage. You have third stage Grookey, first stage Rabbit, second stage Chameleon. You did something like that instead of. So you have the new Pokemon trainer. I think that'd be more interesting.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think that's too much already, just like Pokemon trainer.
Yeah, but I would have been fine with that Pokemon in there.
Yeah, or Surfetched.
Surfetched would be cool. That's a Lance. It's something new.
There you go. There you go. There's your other swordsman. Instead of this guy, I would have taken Surfetched as the new swordsman over Fire Emblem.
That would have been cool. I think it would have been Farfetch'd, and then Farfetch'd for his super evolves. That's what you do it.
Yeah.
Or Gigantamaxes.
So my other thing is, did you hear the leak for Fighters?
No, I didn't. I forgot that was a game, honestly.
Okay, so yeah, it's very much Dragon Ball Fighters said, "Oh, you guys aren't glad that there's another Fire Emblem Swordsman in Smash Brothers will hold my beer.
Is
Ultra Instinct Goku is the new DLC character.
I mean, there's so many Gokus in that game.
Yeah, there are.
It's there.
You can have 2 teams of 6 entirely different Gokus.
And you're not, and there's still Gokus left over.
Yeah. And I mean just like, I just mean Goku.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Fusions. Yeah.
You have Super Saiyan, normal, blue, Kid, Ultra Instinct, and Black.
Base?
No, I never said base. Okay, so yeah, I'm mistaken. With Ultra Instinct now there's 6 Gokus. But that's not counting Goku Black or
then you can have a team of Goku fused, which is Gogeta, Vegito, and Black.
Yeah, you'd have so that I would count that as 1.5 additional Gokus.
Yeah, and then also don't forget Bardock exists.
Oh yeah, Bardock. That's true. That's a Goku. If it's voiced by Grandma Goku, it's a Goku. If her voice is in there, it's Goku. I don't care. That's how it works. I mean, whatever. Fighters is what it is.
You know, it makes me happy whenever like people get, because like, you know what, you guys could have picked Marvel Infinite and you chose this garbage.
Yeah. Yo, the Theros has been pretty good. That's it.
One thing you can't say about Marvel Infinite is it gave us too many DLC characters.
That's true. It didn't even give us enough characters to even out the roster size.
I know. They should have given us at least 2 more Capcom characters.
Just
balance it out.
I think there would have been people that would have paid a lot just to have that roster balanced. Just because it's that one little smidgen that scooches on over. It just looks bad. It just oh man. That's oh god. It's that game. We've talked enough about Marvel. It'll keep coming up. Our thoughts.
There's a top 8 is going to be streamed later today for our sakes.
Oh.
For people who are listening, you either saw it or you didn't.
Yeah, I watched a bit of the Pokemon Regional Championship, whatever that's going on now with the new games.
What are the teams?
It's somewhat varied. Instead of the it's kind of weird because
because the Gala region since like the Pokedex is limited, they can't just be like, and I'm putting Landorus on the team, and I'm putting this on the team.
Yeah, which means and this is me. My Pokemon has gone way down from when I was in there deep. It seems that now all the support Pokemon are standard, and then it's just whatever Pokemon you want to have as your big kind of damage dealer. So you're seeing a lot of Togekiss, Arcanine, Melodic on every team, and then it's do you want your big sweeper to be a dragon? Do you want it to be a water type? Do you want it to be the ice type? It's one of those sort of deals where it's less about who you want on your team, and when the supports are all standard because it's just this Pokemon does everything you need it to do.
I just don't understand understand how there's like, okay, so first of all, I certainly do not want them to be like, okay, well, here's a fire move, it does this much attack, this much accuracy, and here's a carbon copy of that exact same fire move, but it's special attack, it's the regular attack.
Yeah.
I certainly don't want them to do that for like every type of attack, and I certainly don't want them to do that for every Pokemon of a certain type. But with how many Pokemon there are, I just don't understand how they do it.
Yeah.
I don't understand how variety eludes them.
That's what I think is really weird, especially because when I've played card games more seriously, I think I stopped playing Pokemon and then I did Hearthstone for years and now I'm doing Magic and then the League card games coming up. I'm gonna be trying that out. And when I play Magic, I don't feel like it's just Pokemon. The options feel so limiting because you're just there's objectively better choices. I feel like in Magic there's few, and when there is, it's usually broken. Objectively better choices. Where
And see, like I can get it when that happens in a fighting game. There's like 30 characters. I can understand how some will come to the top.
yeah,
But even then, with how like that happens, it creates like other weirder metas. Like in Super Street Fighter 4, when Yun was like and Yang were both so good, Zangief wasn't especially good, but he was good at fighting those two, so he suddenly was also a tournament viable character. Because you're going to be seeing a lot of those two twins.
or just things like if Guile is super good, but he's a charge character, and a pro or a guy is really good, but he can't play charge characters, so he plays another character. It's if you want to, you're not playing specifically. It's one of those things. But in Pokemon, it's less like that. Where if you want a fire type, this is the best one. You're not picking this one because it does. No, you're picking this one. It works the best.
And I don't know, it's weird too, because they're like for doubles, like it's only 4 Pokemon going out at a time. So you think like, okay, well here are my like base support Pokemon. Like however many extra Pokemon that leaves in my party are just gonna be like my counter pick Pokemon that like I rotate through the team.
Yeah.
And that's still like that means it's like, yeah, those are like 3 counter pick Pokemon are like chosen from a pool of like 6 potential Pokemon.
Yeah, it's just it's a bizarre. It's really bizarre. I don't know, and I think it's looking back on it. I don't know why I was I know why I was so into it because it was Pokemon, and it's still my lack of knowledge made it seem way more open than it actually is. Where once you realize it is a game, I think Pokemon, where once you get good enough at it and you understand, or even not good enough, just understand it, the game starts to fall apart. Where you just see things and you're just looking at it and like, yeah, that's good. This Pokemon is trash and will always be trash. Unless you do some kind of weird banding, hyper specific format, then maybe it's okay.
It's weird. It's at this point I have to look at Pokemon and like say do what Melee did. Like you just have to, because like Melee has like all these rules about what you're allowed to do and not to do, because otherwise Peace can just float under the stage and just side B forever and you can't get her. So like I don't know, just make a new rule. Like 1 year is regular, whatever is allowed that's currently allowed. The other year, the gym leader rules. You have to pick a type, and that's what your team is.
Yeah, but even then, I think there would be just here we're going with the water, because water there's too much. It's Pokemon is so bizarre.
Then you pick. Then it's like it's like okay, well water's currently really good good in the meta. So like I'm running like
Anti-water.
light electric. Yeah, like you're just running like the anti-water team.
Which honestly would probably be water. Because electric, because there's too many water grounds that are.
Yeah, but then wouldn't it be grass?
Yeah, I think grass, but the problem. So this is one of the inherent problems.
Okay, so isn't also a problem because grass is like a lot of grass is grass poison, and poison is weak to ground.
It's a lot of grass is weak to ice, and every water Pokemon has Ice Beam or something similar.
I'm still mad that water and ice are separate categories, and ground and rock are separate categories.
Oh, there's a lot of Pokemon. To me, is a thing that is the finest example of a low information game, because the more you think about Pokemon, the worse it gets. Which is why with the new game, I just played through single player, caught the monsters I thought looked cool, and then when I beat it, I turned it off and put it away, and that was it. It was a good experience.
I've always done.
It was a really good experience, because at the time now it's I'll just play Magic. Magic, if you get really good, still is open and weird. You can build something stupid and make it work in Magic. You can't do that in Pokemon.
That Eye Collector deck worked better than it had any right to do.
Well, that's the genius of Magic, is because of lands, and also because of your stupid creations can always work in Magic. The dumbest creation of Magic, due to sometimes your opponent just won't be able to, their deck will not start or just be slow enough to get going, your dumb combo can work. Any dumb combo can work. There's a 10 to 20% chance.
You're just attacking also from like a weird angle they should not have to defend against.
Yeah, so one of the decks I've been playing with, it was I tried it at the beginning, the Ginger Brute, and then you give him the enchantment that gives him +1 for every artifact and enchantment, and then you'd attack with him unblockable. And that sort of worked, but now that Theros has come out, there's so many more enchantments. So that deck has turned more enchantment focused, and it's stupid. because we have card draw enchantments. So you get to draw a card and pump your Ginger Brute with one thing, and then it's dumb. It's super dumb. I love it. I love it to death. It's not good, but it's fun. And it's just, oh man. What other things anything else to talk about?
I had a couple things to talk about. I can remember one off the top of my head.
Oh yeah, you'll always forget one. So just say it before you forget it.
So it's I'm still reading Bone.
Oh yeah, Bone's good.
Yeah.
That's I don't have much more to say.
I don't know what to say about Bone. It's just like,
that's good.
You should read Bone.
Yeah, I highly recommend it.
Let's see. I watched Jinro.
Oh, the Wolf Brigade. How's the Wolf Brigade hold up?
For a movie that's about fascism.
Yeah.
It's to watch that in 2020.
Oh, is that one of those that's aged weirdly well?
Yeah.
Where you're see it's
all about a paramilitary police force ensuring that it gets to retain power.
It's weird, isn't it? It's I will keep harping on it. How Wings of Almond, whatever. Yeah, is about the Royal Space Force, and all the Space Force is where all the politicians and dropouts just kind of get sent off to be paid. As we're going into on Twitter today, where they're talking about the uniforms of the Space Force. It's like, whoa, that became, of all the things to become real, That was not what I was expecting.
Yep.
As this token money financing kind of just garbage thing that's unreal and exists only for dropouts and money laundering, government money exchanges. And now we got the Space Force, which is just that.
Yeah.
That's all that is. I can see
Okay,
it.
so I remembered two other things.
All right.
Yeah, so it's really, man, I really don't like that.
You don't like the
I
what?
don't like that. He didn't have anything to do with that movie, but it's just like, it's that same idea of like, as fascism and like military aggression happens, I'm just like, yeah, the worst you can imagine in fiction is always not as bad as reality.
Oh, that's true. That's
What was it? Is it what's that zombie game?
which one?
Like the one Frank West is from.
Dead Rising.
Yeah, but more actually the one Chuck Green is from. What was the outlandish?
Oh yeah, it was Zombrex. The anti-zombie vaccine was $500 a dose.
Yeah, and for those who aren't keeping up, like insulin costs more than that nowadays.
Yeah. I think part of the problem with fictional dystopias is because
Limited by believability.
well, it's because someone's trying to make something entertainment that there's going to be some parts of it that are appealing. Fallout is a horrible place to be. It's a nuclear irradiated wasteland, but because it's Fallout and it has to be enjoyable somewhat to get through, people like it and go, "Oh, that's pretty cool." Cyberpunk to me is the same way, where Cyberpunk, even though it's horrible corporate dystopia, you're like, man, but those neon and robots look real cool though. Because to make something, you got to have some guy draw a real cool robot, and you're gonna go, man, that robot's real cool.
But that's the other thing though. For the people who are living there, and whenever we get to that point, that stuff will just be mundane.
Oh yeah, that's the lame cyberpunk.
Years ago, take a guy from 100 years ago and put him down, and he'll be like, "Man, that Ford Focus is way cooler than my Ford Model T."
You have some kind of closet that keeps your food cold, and then inside you have some kind of magical orange. Now that was on American Dad, where they resurrected. I think it was some president. I want to say it was. I can't remember, but he was just really entranced with orange soda. Because he's like, how magical is this elixir? It's everywhere. Yeah. It's just, I was like, oh, that's funny. But to us, that was the most mundane thing. A cell phone the smartphone is still the most magical device on the planet. And to us, it's mundane.
Yep. It's just like, whatever. But you showed this to Gene Roddenberry at the start of Star Trek, and he will be like, oh, what the hell?
You show it to Douglas Adams. The cell phone is just the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. You go on Wikipedia and you can find out what you need to know. If you were in the woods, for example, and you had a cell signal, you could go Google or whatever shelter making video and then follow it.
You can just do a quick and dirty Google search for whatever you want.
Is this plant? You could take a picture of some plant and say, "Can I eat this?" And someone will go.
Sit on a forum and wait for the response.
And someone will go, "No." It's really incredible once you think about it. It's magic.
So all I do know about wilderness survival is that like cattails are like a very multi-utility plant in the woods. The stalk is good. The stalk is good for something, but like the roots, you can like brush your teeth with or something. It's weird. And then the brown bit at the top, if you rip it open, it's just full of fluff that is fantastic for tinder.
All I know about wood survival is you stay in one place. You don't try to wander out. Also, from what I know about woods and wilderness survival, is if you're going to hike alone, you tell someone where you're going and roughly what time you're going to be back. And 2, do not leave the trail for any reason.
Yeah.
Do not, because that's what always happens. You'll see I saw a really nice little waterfall and I wandered over and I go watch it and now I can't get back because.
Yeah. Did you ever listen to the one of Beastcast, Jeff Backler was talking about one of his former coworkers who gone hiking and it was getting dark and they were him and his girlfriend were okay, well, it's going to be after dark if we keep following the trail. They're at the halfway point, so it's circling back or continuing on is roughly the same. And do we really want to be hiking at night? Or do we just make a beeline straight through and try to get back that way?
Oh, that's a bad idea.
Yes, it was.
Did I talk about it? Because it was somewhat related. It was when Mythbusters was good, when they still had myths to bust. And
before the interns showed up?
Yeah. And it was so to me, there are 2 Mythbusters things that were incredible.
Yeah, Jamie and Adam.
Yeah, well, okay, yeah. But 2 things they did. One was elephants are afraid of mice.
Yes, they are. That's so weird.
That blew my mind because you see it in cartoons, and then they had an elephant with a little mouse underneath the thing, and they plotted.
They flip the rock over and it sees the fake mouse, and it visibly recoils.
And that was incredible. And the one was, if you close your eyes in a field and you walk forward, if the field is big enough, you will eventually turn in a circle and go back to where you start.
Yeah, because it's the same way as swimming. You naturally the stronger side of your body.
Yeah, you'll lean. You will subconsciously lean in one direction, and you will eventually make a big old circle if you do not have a reference point to look at. And because everything is woods, that's how people get way lost because they just don't see it. And that was incredible.
Yeah. So the other 2 things are, I watched a lot of Marvel 3 on Friday.
Oh.
Man, 2020 Marvel is weird because it's kind of had a bit of a resurgence over the past year.
Yeah.
So some people are kind of sharp on top tier teams, but you still have the people who never stop playing the garbage tier teams, and so now a Zero May Cry is equivalent to a never assume Arthur team.
Because that dumb it's Marvel 3 to me is the closest thing fighting games have had to Magic the Gathering because jank can work. Marvel 3 jank works. Now there's Virgil Zero. Yeah, there's Zero Virgil Dante. That's gonna work a lot easier. But you can have some weird, stupid team that just works.
Yeah.
You can force it.
I'll never get tired of seeing Spider-Man do a Spider's team and then just holding the hard tag button for Doctor Doom to come in and just do a much simpler combo than what Spider-Man combos are.
It's great. That game's stupid. It's great.
I love that game.
That game is really dumb.
One of the best games of all time.
I would.
And the other, dude, whatever. That game is one of the best games of all.
I disagree, but I'm not gonna. I disagree, but I'm not gonna fight you on it because it's a valid opinion.
And Audacity having troubles right now?
Oh yeah, we're getting near the end where everything's starting to glitch and get kind of nasty.
Yeah, okay. Because you're getting a little weird on your side.
All right, let's start wrapping it up then because it's starting to get gross.
Okay, the last thing is, did you watch Keep Your Hands Off the Aizoken?
No, I haven't. Because I've been doing magic. I've been watching magic stuff because of the new expansion. That one's on my list. I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, so it drops. So like only the first episode is out right now for non-premium Crunchyroll people.
Yeah.
And like I think it drops every Sunday.
All right.
The thing that makes that show is whenever they're doing like the imagination parts, all the sound effects are just like the main character going like.
Oh, that's good. That's really good.
Yeah. For those who don't know, that's Yuasa's new anime. It's about making anime.
Yeah. Also been described as Girl Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
And I can see that.
Because it's one of those. You should watch it. It looks good.
Yeah.
People are calling it anime of the decade. And
okay, so do you are we in a new decade, or is this the last year of the decade?
I've had this discussion with my dad. It's the new decade because whenever you are, when you're in your if you are 20, you don't say you're in your teens. If you're
okay, let me ask you this: count to 10.
Well, 10's different. 10 is different.
Count to 20.
No, I don't like.
You don't start with 0 when you're counting up.
Oh, I know, but this is just what it is. Once you hit it, we're in a new decade. That's.
Okay, so that means if 10 is different. That means it's in 2 different decades.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happens. It's just weird. It's the leap decade. That's how it works. That's how it works. The leap decade. Also, everything's crashing. Drew, are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we need to call it.
Yeah.
Later days.